Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport right now, where things are moving smoothly, but not so much for one traveler who tells us he's in a wheelchair. He's a well-heeled traveler, too, traveling almost 2 million miles between a couple of airlines, Delta one of them, our largest carrier here, the headquarters of that airline. Here's the problem. When he flies into Hartsfield-Jackson, you know, he gets wheelchair assistance, he gets help with his baggage off the carousel, but you know as well as we do that then getting out to rideshare is like a 2-mile walk, and it can be a tricky one because you're crossing streets, you're navigating under parking decks just to get out to catch your ride. Well, the wheelchair people aren't up for doing that. I don't know if it's because of contract provisions or what. Tyler Fingered here on the streaming set to tell us more about what's going on here. It's a matter of accessibility, Tyler. I mean, the airport does a lot for folks who are in the wheelchair who need to get out to the plane, but good luck, I guess, if you want to get a ride share.
Yeah, and so this frequent travelers told me today that he basically calls this a major safety issue because he relies on a wheelchair when he travels through Hartsfield-Jackson, when he flies to other airports as well. He says he can walk a short distance, but if you have traveled through Hartsfield-Jackson and take a ride share, you just know how far this can be because you go out to the north terminal, you go down the escalator, then you walk across a parking garage, you cross a street, you cross another street, and then that is the rideshare pickup area. You're looking at the area right there. That is not right on the curb. Some airports that are super small, it's right on the curb. He calls this, again, a major safety issue. He said it all centers around the company, or one of the companies that provides these wheelchair services to different passengers and travelers who need that assistance. And for those with disabilities, wheelchair assistance is vitally important, as he was telling me. The local traveler says getting to that rideshare pickup area has become a problem since he relies on that assistance, and sometimes they just don't want to be able to provide that assistance to him. He says attendants only take him so far. Baggage claim is where he says he normally gets told that this is the end of the line. His name is Larry Carnell. He says he flies 2 or 3 times a month and a lot more previously when he was traveling for work and pleasure and all of that. But he says 2 to 3 times a month he still travels, and that wheelchair assistance attendants won't get him to his ride. He says sometimes the attendants refuse altogether. Other times he says he has to offer them an extra tip to get them to where he needs to be able to catch that ride share. And he believes it's a safety issue because that pickup area, see, you have to cross the street there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a safety issue to be able to get there because it says it takes him time to walk. Before our interview, he actually walked from, I guess, his bedroom or one of his offices and walked to where we talked to him on his couch. And it took a few moments for him to get there. It wasn't as quick as maybe someone like you or me walking in, and he was using a cane. And so he just believes that this is a massive problem. Take a listen to what he told me.
Historically, they've always taken us out to baggage claim and then taken us to the rideshare area where Uber and Lyft picks up. That's been consistently the way it's been done here, and it's done in virtually every other city I travel to. Atlanta is now the only airport that I travel to where they just take me to baggage claim. For some reason, they think that, I need the safety of a wheelchair from the gate to baggage claim, but for some reason when we reach baggage claim, I'm instantly healed and I don't need transportation out to rideshare. But what's happened is they have now moved rideshare out a considerable distance, and now that has created a safety issue because now they say it's not only a safety issue, but there's traffic and other issues. But my issue is I didn't create that scenario. The airport authority created that scenario, but I'm stuck with the situation, and now they, in essence, what they want to do is abandon me and other disabled people in the baggage claim area.
And so Carnell says he has had the issue with Prospect Airport Services. We reached out to them. In a statement, the company said, quote, in alignment with other passenger assistance service providers and in compliance with the Code of Federal Regulations, escorts to rideshare or rental car areas are not generally provided due to safety considerations related to traffic and unsecured areas, end quote. Carnell says he hopes to prompt change, and he believes the airport should have a designated handicap pickup area close to the terminal to help resolve the problem. So we also reached out to the airport, and they they sent us another statement. This is from an airport spokesperson. They said, quote, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport is aware of the complaint recently filed regarding assistance services for passengers with disabilities. They said the matter is currently under investigation. And then also, they were notified after they sent the statement, they said that they are obviously looking into alternatives here. So maybe having one of those closer areas for people with disabilities to be able to get a ride share. We obviously know that that is something that he recommended, is what he told me in that interview and what I had mentioned. His big thing here is, if someone trips and falls, someone's still liable for that since they're on airport property, and he doesn't want someone to be hurt, which is why he's speaking up to make sure he can protect the thousands of travelers who likely use that airport every single day or every single week and month and year, who rely on wheelchair assistance. I mean, if you walk through that airport at any time of day, you will see, whether it's different companies, you'll see someone pushing a wheelchair. And some flights, I'll tell you, I've been on some flights where you have a line of wheelchairs waiting to either get on, or once you are here in Atlanta, a line of wheelchairs just waiting for people to get off the plane and then take them to their next plane or to wherever they're going. So he's hoping that this can prompt some change to protect people.
It's something I'm familiar with because my dad, he's elderly, he uses a wheelchair, so I've used the service that the airport and the airlines provide. The wheelchair people themselves are always so gracious and so nice. It sounds like they're just following protocol and not being able to take them out to the rideshare area. I mean, that in and of itself is a legal issue, but you've exposed what is perhaps a huge gap in providing a service to people with disabilities who need to get out to rideshare. And it's impossible to do just that when you're dependent on the wheelchair service provided by the airport.
And for him, his argument is, this is something that the airport has a location for on their property for people to pick up their rideshare. We know for a fact that the airport gets a fee from these rideshare companies. They get a little bit of a money from each ride that comes into and out of the airport. That's just part of the operating costs that people have and that the rideshare companies have. So this is something that the airport provides a location for. And his argument is, if they're going to have a location, they chose to put it far away, they should be able to have these wheelchair attendants be able to get these people out to where they need to go. And obviously, he says there's obviously different considerations, like if there's trying to take you out to your car or something like that. But he says the rideshare lot is something that they provide that service for, and he thinks that it should be an easy little jaunt for them to take people out there. I will tell you, we had a photographer go out there, a Fox 5 Atlanta photojournalist, Jim Zorn. He called me after he went out and got some of this video today. He said that he actually saw some different wheelchair attendants out there with people. So it may vary by company, but we know Prospect Airport Services says that generally they do not take people out there. And he said, the guy we spoke to, Larry Carnell, he had mentioned to us that if he would give someone extra tip, he referred to it in an interview, which you'll hear on Fox 5 News at 4, 5, and 6. He referred to it as basically bribing these people to go out there, give them an extra tip, and that's when they'll actually take the people out there. So his concern is they'll do it sometimes, but not other times. One time they just downright refused, and his wife, who also has a disability, had to try to push him out there. What should be a 5-minute walk took 15, 20 minutes.
Not only that, but it's very dangerous to do that for somebody who's having trouble themselves to push somebody else out there. We know as travelers that it's a nightmare for anyone to make it out to the rideshare area, but I can't imagine being in a wheelchair, having to access that area and not having any way to get out there. So hopefully, as you said, you came up with a great idea, maybe bringing 4 disabled people, the rideshare drivers, up closer to the airport terminal so that it could be easier for them. Tyler, thanks so much.